Hi everyone. I just want to go over a few things for this week. So again, we are on Module 7, which is the last module of the semester, and so we are wrapping up, and I just want to make sure that everyone is on the same page and understands what they need to be focusing on over the next few weeks. Okay, so last week, which was week 14, was over the fall break and the Thanksgiving holiday, so it was a lighter week. You should have wrapped up reading Chapter 7, Selection, Proximity, and Overlay in the course text. It's the last chapter of the book, and so hopefully you got that finished up so you can start reviewing for the final exam. There was no lecture last week other than the Module 7 video. If you have not looked at that first video, please take some time to watch it. It goes over similar things to this video, but it's a little bit different, and so just make sure to be watching the lecture videos. It's important. They go towards your participation grade at the end, and obviously there's a lot of information, not just about course content, but also upcoming assignments and projects. Okay, so there was a discussion assigned last week, and I realized that there were some inconsistencies between what I was talking about in the video and what was on the assignment page. So I'm going to take you over there now just to clarify a few things. So right now I am on the Module 7 homepage, and I'm on week 14, and the discussion I'm talking about is final project support. Just really quickly, I will show you that I've included it down here for week 15 as well, and we'll get into that in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and open this in a new tab and bring us over there. Okay, so this activity and discussion is to help you prepare for your final project. There was a little bit of confusion, I realized, because I think early on this section it said that this assignment is optional. It's not optional, it's required. It just doesn't have a due date until the end of the semester. It's due at the same time that your final project is due, but doesn't mean that you should be doing it the last week, the day before that it's due or anything like that. It's definitely set up to make sure that you are starting to plan your final project early on in the process. And so you had last week to do that, and this week you are still within the time frame to be able to be coming up with an idea. And so I just want you guys to make sure that you are participating, because it won't be graded right away, but it'll be part of the final grade for the final projects themselves. And so I just want to clarify that. And I know that some of you have already participated, and that's great. And I see that you guys are coming up with great ideas and providing support for each other, which you've done consistently throughout the semester. Okay, so I do want to talk a little bit about the activity as well. So this exercise is to help you come up with an idea and how to take that idea, make sure that there's a geospatial component to it. So this slide and example here is just talking about 3 different analytical techniques. And so though I do want you to choose a topic and go through the exercise and come up with a question for each of these techniques: the spatial distribution, where is X, relationship, where is X in relationship to Y, and association. Is there a correlation between the distribution of X and Y? Could X be causing Y? So you are not going to be required to do a research topic on all of these analytical techniques. This is just to kind of get the juices flowing and to make sure that your topic can have a geospatial component to it, because not everything can, or maybe it doesn't make sense to. And so I just don't want you guys to be stressing and thinking that you have to be able to do all of this for your final project. That is not the case. So I'll just take you up here to my example with the giant Pacific salamanders. And so my spatial distribution is where is X. I'd like to visualize the distribution of salamanders. Are the salamanders grouped together more dispersed? Are they all found in a certain bioregion? That right there is a perfect research question for a final project. It doesn't have to include all the rest of these analytical techniques. But let's say there's already a bunch of data about the giant Pacific salamander and where they are located in your project area. You've done some research, you see that there's a lot of data provided already. So then you can say, okay, well, maybe I'll ask a relationship question. And you can say, okay, well, now that we already know where these salamanders are, we can start seeing if we can identify a pattern. And is there a relationship between salamanders and riparian habitats? And do all of the salamanders occur within a certain distance of a riparian habitat? Both of those questions can be separate research topics for your final project, or they can be combined for, just to expand that idea a little bit further. Okay, and so again, let's say that we already have both spatial distribution and relationship data is already out there in the world, and we want to ask our association, is there a relationship between water quality and the size of salamander? And so, again, this exercise is just to help you begin that planning process and see what data is out there already, what kind of questions you can ask, and just to help you get going in the right direction and organizing your thoughts. And so I know that there was a little bit of confusion with some students thinking that they had to do every single part of it. And so I just want to make that clear. And as far as if I were to take this example and acquire data for any of these, let's go ahead and do the relationship question, as an example. So let's say that I want to look at the giant Pacific salamander within Humboldt Redwoods State Park. So I could go ahead and get the boundaries for the park. I could get the county boundary. I could get a state outline boundary. Okay, so all of those things are starting to build my base layer. And then I could look for data. I'd also want to get riparian habitats. Okay, and so all of those boundaries I could then cut and just have a map displaying the riparian habitats within my study area, which is within Redwood National Park. Okay, and then I would have my salamander population data. I could get points from an agency that has already done a salamander study. That could be the Forest Service, it could be BLM. You'll just have to research and to see what's out there. Okay, and so just off the top of my head, those are some of the layers I would be looking for to be able to create a project like that. And of course we have some past projects for you guys to take a look at. And we'll get into that in just a second, because now I want to talk more about the final project. So the final project opened up last week, and again, you should still be in the planning process, but starting to get ready to acquire that data and start getting your points together, collect waypoints if that's what you're choosing to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over this page a little bit, and then we'll take you over to the final project requirements. So this is the assignment page, and this is where you'll be submitting your final project. And so you'll be submitting through Canvas, and so I want you to pay attention to the submission requirements on this page and in the description itself. Okay, so the purpose of the final project is to synthesize the information learned in this course. You'll be carrying out a mapping project by either collecting a geospatial data set using a GPS receiver or any other equipment available. Okay, so we learned how to use the Gaia app, GPS app, during our mapping noise pollution activity. And so if you have another app you'd like to use, that is fine. You just need to explain your methods and make sure that it's actually going to work for the project of your choosing. Alternatively, students may use geospatial data gathered from online sources such as National Historic Geographic Information Systems, NHGIS, which we used in past activities as well. So ideally, the mapping project will lay the groundwork for future projects in subsequent geospatial classes that you might be planning on taking in the future. Okay, so on top of that, you will need to do some research and provide proof of that. You'll need at least 2 academic journal articles or news articles that relate to their mapping theme. For example, if your data collection is centered around shorebirds, you might want to find journal articles related to shorebird ecology, or maybe like a recent restoration project. Okay, and then you should be then tying that information that you researched into your discussions or anywhere in the report. Okay, also just make sure that you're using the APA formatting. That's pretty standard. We've been using it all semester. These links, when something is blue in the text, it'll take you to the link. This will take you to CR's APA formatting, and there's multiple examples for you to be able to figure out to make sure that you are formatting your citations correctly. Okay, so let's go over to the final project requirements. Okay, so this goes into a little bit more detail of what I will be looking for. You know, you have your length requirement, your section requirements, and then an explanation of those report sections. And I just want to go over some student examples really quickly. So all of these are provided here. There's also examples provided on the discussion page and the final project page, or not the final project page, the discussion page in this page, which is the requirements page. And so the first example that I want to go over just really quickly, this person went and collected data points themselves, and they discussed their methods in the methods section. And so they chose to look for, you know, the most frequented eating locations on the HSU campus. And so they came up with a plan before, and they decided that they were going to go to the same eating locations on campus at the same time blocks for 3 days in a row. And they were going to record how many people were at those places at those times. Okay, so they went ahead and did their schedule for days 1, 2, and 3. All of the different locations are here, and then the amount of students frequently those locations at these times are all stored, and then they have their total here at the end. They then classified their data into 5 different ranges, and then they were able to create a pretty basic map, but good map for this report. They were able to get, I know that you guys saw this base layer. That's not something that we really use in our course, but it's a really basic base layer, you know, and so you can be as intricate as you want, but you could be as basic as you want, as long as your data is displayed appropriately and you're taking into account all the cartographic designs that we've been learning over the course of the semester. Okay, so they then took that data and they classified it, again, like I said, in 5 different class ranges, and then were able to display that data on their base map. Everything is very easy to read and understand. Okay, and so this is an example where somebody went and collected their data. I want to look at this example as well. Let me just bring you back to the top. So this is a report where somebody acquired their data online. So this report is looking at California counties with highest wildfire damage risk. And so I'm just going to scroll down to their map and I'll explain it a little bit down here. And of course, this is one of the examples. Please take the time to read through the whole report just so you can understand what's going on and the different things that you could do with your data maybe. So this map is displaying the number of fires and total population. And so they were able to acquire their data from the California Census Bureau, U.S. Forest Service, and CAL FIRE. So the Census Bureau was that population data, and the county data and the state boundary data. You could also get the state boundary data from like Humboldt County GIS portal. You have multiple sources to pull from what you've learned in this course. And and then the number of fires data from CAL FIRE and U.S. Forest Service, and displayed them as graduated symbols to show the number of fires in related to total population in the state of California.